Hello and welcome to the Phoenix 5 Info Show. I'm your host, Lieutenant Vince Lewis with the Phoenix Police Public Affairs Bureau, coming to you once again from Phoenix Police Headquarters in beautiful downtown Phoenix. And I want to welcome back to the show my co-host, PIO Sergeant Phil Krynsky. Welcome back.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Excellent. So I'd like to introduce our very special guest here to talk about something very important. Police Administrator Amanda Markham, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You bet. And tell us a little bit about what you do before we go into this program.
Absolutely. So I drive initiatives for our chief's office. So what that means is I look at different technological solutions that will elevate us.
You're an expert not only in what you've helped us get through, but you've got prior experience in law enforcement. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You mind talking about that?
Absolutely. So I started out many years ago as a deputy sheriff in the field. So I did have my boots on the ground and I worked the field for quite a few years. I was also a specialty detective, and then I rolled into leadership positions.
Well, great. We're happy to have you now that you're ours, you belong to the Phoenix community. So, but your expertise in this solution. So this came up out of need. Essentially, we saw some gaps and we saw some opportunities to increase communications with this particular program. Tell us what the program is and how we fill those gaps.
Absolutely. This is most certainly a critical community engagement tool for us. It's called SPIDR Tech, and it's also known as the Versiterm company. So what it is, it's a digital communication tool. It elevates how we communicate with our stakeholders, our customers, our community. It has some major features that we're really proud of and about to launch, if I may. The first one is when a person calls in to report an incident, they will have an opportunity to have a text message or an email sent back to them asking them how their experience was. We want to know, and we want to stay in tune with our community on how we're doing. Yeah. Another great feature is if unfortunately they have to wait a little bit, we're delayed because of staffing, or maybe there's a priority call that they got diverted to, or just high volume that day, we will also open that line of communication and send them text messages or emails letting them know, hey, we still value, we still care, the call's important to us, but we're going to be a little bit delayed, and we'll continue to keep that loop of information open. And the third one, which I like to refer to as our best-in-class customer service feature, is that we are going to be providing open communication to our crime victims. So if our crime victims report a crime, then we're going to give them real-time updates and status updates on their case, allow them to see the movement, court proceeding information. We'll give them a QR code when we're in the field, so they can go to our portal and they can find more resources and opt in for additional information. So we're really setting that standard with communication, and we're really elevating that.
Yeah, Phil, it sounds like we're really stepping up this interactivity, this real-time communication. Can you tell us, and you've been involved in some of the communications, the hour communication about this program. Can you tell us a little bit about the user experience and what the caller or victim might go through with their interaction with a responding Phoenix police officer?
Yeah, so first it starts off with just the cell phone, right? You're going to make a call, you're going to receive a text message. Once the call's completed, you're also going to receive a confirmation that a report's been taken. You're going to get that report number on there, the type of crime that's going, and then additional instructions depending on what type of crime it was. It's also going to direct you over to the victim portal, as Amanda mentioned earlier. So it's very user-friendly, very intuitive. So you don't need a lot of experience. Granted, there's still if you don't have a cell phone or access to it, there's still ways to be able to access this information. So even if you don't have that, we still stepped it up to make sure that you still have your information available to you. So we've really been looking at it from different angles, and I think the community's been very happy with us and just getting that additional information that they deserve to get.
So when somebody calls the police department, at least with the Phoenix Police Department, and they receive an officer, the officer takes a report. In days past, we would have a victim's rights pamphlet, and on that would be spaces for the officer to write their name, their badge number, the date, the time, the report number, and then inside would be critical information for somebody if they were either a victim or acting on behalf of a victim to get that information. What changes, Amanda, now are going to be in place going forward?
Well, as Phil mentioned, that is absolutely still in place, because those that may not have that digital solution or those cell phones, they'll still have the ability to get the actual pamphlet when they're there. But what we've done is we've elevated that for additional audiences to help, and we will provide it to them digitally. So we can give the QR code there while we're out there. They can scan it. They can go online. All of the information is still going to be the same. We've just added another layer to open that communication.
Okay, and then you brought some samples of the cards that the police officers are going to be carrying with them. Tell me about a little bit about these cards for our listeners. listeners?
Absolutely. So some of the information that you've just shared is the exact. We don't want to change it too much, but we wanted to condense it and make it easier to have that conversation in the field. So the same information, the police report number, all of which, if they opt to go online and go to our portal, this information will just translate over. They can input that and they'll get the information they need.
Excellent. Phil, is there a one-stop place or a website or something that we might be able to go to get some of this information on the front end? Because understanding the difficulties that when you're in it, police officers, we always say that, we respond to people in the worst possible days of their lives. There's a need that they're calling for, and oftentimes it's not pleasant. But there's a lot of emotion, there's a lot of chaos in some cases. Things tend to be forgotten when we tell them. But where can we educate ourselves on the front end? Is there a place that we can go to for more information? Amanda, speak up if you know the site.
So I'll start it off with it. So phoenix.gov/police is the first place you're going to go. Anything to do with the department, period, is going to be there. But there's going to also be a link there for all the victim information, which, again, it's going to link them up with that portal. It's going to have all the victim rights information. So if they do want to look in advance, they're more than welcome to. And we should be launching that also just before the full launch is going forward.
Okay. Well, Administrator Markham, we have a lot of people to thank for this project. And you've been living and breathing this project alongside those that have helped you, kind of spearheading this innovative technology, getting us to the point where we can launch and enjoy the benefits of the SPIDR Tech program and the increased communications. But like I said, there's a lot of people that I'm sure you want to thank who had a critical role in this, and whether they be from our department or other departments in the city.
Oh, absolutely. City manager's office for the support, our city council for the support, our chief for always being that catalyst for us to continue to move forward and be the best that we can absolutely be. And then internally, absolutely. This project touches every single respectively large division, IT, PAB, you name it, every single agent. Every single unit here has had to come forward and allocate resources, which I know is difficult right now when we have competing priorities, but a special thank you to all of you for, I know I'm a hard driver sometimes when it comes down to these things, but it's been an absolute pleasure to help us get to that finish line. And so yes, a huge thanks to everybody here at the department.
Yeah, so there's a lot of units and individuals and entities, organizations, so forth that came forward to help with this. And there was a lot of concerns, I think, voiced during the developmental phases of this, one of those being victims' privacy. Can either of you speak to the concerns that were brought up and addressed when it comes to making sure that we safeguard not only the information, but streamline the connection between our victims and where they get their rights?
Well, I can tell you as far as once they submit that information, they view it, again, there is some limited information because we want to protect and safeguard that. They could still have the opportunity, though, to reach out to the detective directly and have that conversation. So yes, there's still measures that we're taking in place to make sure their information stays private as it should.
Mm-hmm. And it seems to me that a text or using your cell phone would probably be the preferred method, but there were probably some security concerns that came up in the discussions with the integrity of the program. Do you guys remember any talks about making sure that the addressing those issues, or was it pretty much smooth sailing with the company?
I can tell you this, this has been a complex program putting it together. We're speaking to multiple entities, and Amanda named a few of them, but IT being one of those, investigations being another. So yes, we looked at from different angles and made sure we got everybody's input. We would have weekly, if not multiple weekly meetings, where we would be able to discuss and brainstorm, and again, make sure we address everything, not just from the security standpoint, but also the requirements from the Attorney General's office. It's the same things that works here for the department, and what's going to benefit investigations, but also our patrol officers on the street.
And this helps us stay in compliance with state law.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you know the statute I'm talking about, or the requirement I'm talking about?
Well, it first initiated with Senate Bill 1712 for crime notification automation, and this is definitely where it began its growth and is spearheading.
Okay, so it helps us in that respect, where we had good intentions before, but this really puts us in a good position to close those gaps. So let's see. Let's review. Where can we go to get more information about this?
Well, we have started a campaign already to put that as information out. So you can visit us phoenix.gov/police for information there. You can go to our social media sites. That's going to have not just our posts on there. There's going to be a video that kind of goes into it, and as far as just the basics about the program and how it works. So those are great places to start, and we'll be putting stuff out there. Same thing with the city's newsroom. We're going to be putting a newsroom article out there as well that people can read and get additional information.
And that's phoenix.gov/newsroom, right?
Correct.
Okay. Let's see. What else is important to know? What other major agencies or large cities are using this program? Do you know?
Yes, so we have about 12 or 13 here locally from Tempe, Gilbert, Tolleson, Queen Creek, Mesa, you name it. They're all on board and they absolutely speak very highly of this program, to include Canada even has it. We have a few in California. So this product, this solution is incredible and folks are really, really utilizing it to its fullest capacity.
All right. Well, so to recap, this is a program that when somebody calls 911 or Crime Stop and gets a police officer to respond, they get a text message ahead of time allowing them to know that we've received the call. Do we give any kind of estimated time of arrival, or is that still is that not available? Or
for security purposes, again, for officers, no, the specific ETA is not provided. But again, they are being notified that there is an officer en route, and again, they'll get the confirmation once the officer takes the report. So there are ways that they're going to be updated. But again, for some of the security for the officers,
and a lot of people don't understand that when the call is being placed, an officer is already en route, and we hear from communications that the person you're speaking with is still gathering information while the officer is en route to you. And sometimes the calls may delay their response, or there's traffic conditions. There's a lot of things that are going on, but an officer is on their way, and you're going to get that communication to the program. When the officer arrives, they'll have one of these 3x5 cards with them to fill out the information. They'll provide that, and then on that is a QR code that the reporting party can scan, and they'll be able to get the information, just basically reference information to not only get a copy of the report later, but also to obtain their victims' rights?
Yes, they can go, it'll take it to our new website that'll have a portal, and they can input that information, and then they can actually see when arrests are made, when court proceedings are going to be, they can follow the case.
So they have to opt in?
Yeah, they not initially, but if they want additional information, then yes, they'll need to opt in to give additional information.
Okay, and somebody can do that on behalf of maybe a victim who's incapacitated or unavailable. Is somebody that allowed to do that?
Yes, as long as they have that pertinent information. But the other thing is also that it's going to be in different languages. That's one thing we didn't speak about.
Oh, goodness,
Yeah,
yes. That's a very valid point.
yeah.
Up to 6 different languages that are reflective of our community members. Absolutely.
Yes.
In addition, that we've also asked them as we've gone through this process, and I apologize, I'd love to give a shout out to them as well. They have stepped up, and we've had different surveys and thank you pages and information on the website we've actually provided to them to get their feedback to ensure that we're very sensitive to their language and that it is translating appropriately. So absolute special shout out for their input and working with us. We love them being a part of our team.
Yeah, we don't want to get that wrong. Well, I want to thank you both for your time. Police Administrator Amanda Markham, thank you for all of your work on this program. We appreciate it. We can't wait to report on the benefits of the program going forward.
Absolutely.
Sarge, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
I'll see you at work tomorrow.
Yes. And the day after and the day after that.
Yeah. I want to thank the crew for producing this. I want to thank you, the listener, for watching. You can catch the video version of this podcast on our YouTube channel. And I'd just like to remind everybody that you too can help solve crime in your community by sending tips to Silent Witness, potentially earn a cash reward, and remain completely anonymous. Go to silentwitness.org or call 480-WITNESS. Visit us on all social media platforms. Like us, subscribe us, love us even. Leave comments. We appreciate that. We are hiring. Go to joinphxpd.com. And remember, we're all in this together. Phoenix police officers are responding with a new high-tech solution the next time you call 911. Find out what it is on the next 50 Info.